Team in the National Assembly for the SABC tonight, covering the afternoon session. Bulelani, good evening to you. What have been the highlights so far? It looks like the opposition parties have been throwing almost everything they had at the president.
Well, good evening to you, Stephen, and to the viewers. Certainly, it's a field day for the opposition parties as they continue to criticize what was presented by President Ramaphosa. Of course, a lot of them really going after him about his dream of the country's direction. Of course, saying that the dream that he's presenting needs to come with facts, plans, as well as timelines of all the deliverables that is promised in the State of the Nation address that was presented last week. Of course, the EFF again saying that the president is now beginning to neglect the promises that they made to the electorate around the issues of land expropriation without compensation. The DA also, not to be outdone, also going after the president, saying that his dream of creating a modern city must actually just be diverted to creating sustainable cities that we have at the moment, given the nature of the droughts that we experience in some of our cities. Of course, they're also alluding to some of the issues around the reforms of state-owned companies, particularly Eskom. Also, taking issue with the bailout of 230 billion rand that is set to be given to Eskom over the next 10 years. Of course, those are some of the highlights, periodically, from some of the two big parties in the House.
Okay, so we've got those kind of claims coming in. The Democratic Alliance also weighing in on this argument. What have they really been saying today? What have been their main arguments?
Well, Stephen, as I've indicated, they are actually, tearing into the president's dream, because they're saying that a dream must be accompanied by proper plans that are also in line with deliverables, as well as having time frames. So if you make a promise today, we must be able to actually monitor in terms of the deliverable at a particular point in time. Again, they've also had quite a lot to say around the reforms in SOEs and cleaning up corruption in those state-owned companies, particularly around the issue of Eskom, saying that, the company needs to become sustainable because the country's economy depends on that parastatal. Again, emphasizing that they want the parastatal, the power utility, to be divided into two entities. Again, just a short while ago, the Public Enterprises Minister, Pravin Gordhan, saying that they are on track with the restructuring of Eskom. Government is intending, in terms of restructuring Eskom, to include 3 units that will be generation, distribution and transmission. And the DA, of course, in the end, closing by saying that they do not want the national health insurance as it is costly and unsustainable. Stephen?
Bulelani, the issue of Eskom, we all know, government has said it many times, probably the most important challenge facing the country and certainly the economy. Pravin Gordhan, the Public Enterprises Minister, how did he look? Does he look like he has a plan? Does he look like this plan is actually being implemented to save Eskom and possibly the economy as a result?
Well, the minister spoke a short while ago, and he gave a rundown of his plan in terms of, turning around some of the ailing state-owned companies. And on Eskom, as I've said, that, he's saying that they are continuing to ensure that they clean up the parastatal, and part of the presidential council that has been appointed by the president is to ensure that it looks at the viability of some of these SOEs, whether they still are relevant or whether they must be, combined with other SOEs. Again, a new thing that has also emerged is whether to create new SOEs. That's the vision of Minister Pravin Gordhan as he talks about the fourth industrial revolution that has been much talked about. Again, on the Eskom front, he's saying that the issues of, ensuring that there is capacity at the high level, particularly at the board level as well as the executive management, it's something that they are continuing to ensure that it's on top of their agenda, Stephen.
And then as Pravin Gordhan stood up to speak, the EFF walked out. What was their rationale?
Well, it seems that the EFF is going to throw everything it has to Pravin Gordhan. He will probably be the new Jacob Zuma in this administration. EFF leader Julius Malema, shortly after Pravin Gordhan started speaking, he was up on a point of order, saying that they do not want him to address the House. Of course, citing that, public protector report that was, handed out earlier this year that said that he had actually been found guilty of maladministration in him approving the pension payout of SARS boss Ivan Pillay. Of course, Mr. Pravin Gordhan is taking that report of the public protector on review. And of course, on the ANC benches, some defense from the Deputy Chief Whip, Doris Labude, saying that the matter is before the courts and the minister must be allowed to speak. In the end, the EFF walking out of the House for the duration of the speech, and then they made their way back shortly after he had finished speaking from the podium. Stephen?
Bulelani, you'll know there's been all sorts of reports around divisions in the ANC recently. The Secretary-General, Ace Magashule, denied reports of divisions last week. He described it as media hogwash. Did all the people from the ANC benches standing up to speak to support President Ramaphosa, did it look like a united front to you, a united party?
Stephen, on face value, ANC are taking marching orders of defending their president. I think that's something that has been evident in some of the speeches that have been delivered. Of course, everybody singing the praises of the president and his speech that was delivered last week. Everybody picking something to chew on from his speech and basically elaborating a little bit on some of the issues that the president raised. Of course, we don't expect them to really have any divisions shown in this leg of the debate in the National Assembly. Of course, maybe some of those issues may be threshed out at committee level as the committee meetings begin to elect new chairpersons tomorrow. So we'll have to see how those unfold. Stephen?
Bulelani, I know you're preparing for a long night there, due to go on until 8 o'clock or so, and of course we'll cross back for the highlights as they happen here on SABC News. But when are we expecting a reply? Are we expecting the President to reply tomorrow? Do you think he'll give a comprehensive reply to everything that's been said so far?
Yes, Stephen, everything is scheduled for him to be responding tomorrow afternoon. He's been given an hour and a half to actually give that kind of response. I think we should expect that he'll be responding to each and every political party leader when he does respond. I think the one thing that we've seen in the past is that he does tend to mention each and every political party by name, something that I think it's something to ease them up or to just disarm them from continuing to attack them when they speak in the House.
Bulelani Phillip, thank you very much indeed. Do appreciate it. More reports from him as well as we go through the evening. There'll be more reports here tomorrow morning after that debate has ended.